have and build the right mindset. And that takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. Welcome to you too on YouTube. Excuse me. This is Andrea Peart Williams. My goal through PW Wealth and Keen Real Estate Group is to continually help build your knowledge base of what it is that you need to do to be successful in real estate, to build a legacy and generational wealth using real estate. And hopefully, you'll pay it, you'll go onto my YouTube sometimes and take a look at what we're doing, LinkedIn, Facebook. I have a Facebook group. I have, many social media platforms that you can plug into and continually get the knowledge. A lot of what we offer is free. So, there isn't any real cost to you or any inhibitor to prevent you, because really you're just listening and getting the information. So today's topic is I'm going to focus on talking about a book that I read many years ago, and it was very instrumental in what I've been able to do. I mean, outside of Rich Dad Poor Dad, which was a fantastic book, as well as Think and Grow Rich, this book teaches you, and just imagine this. Put on your imagination caps. I love this. I used to be a school teacher and I loved it. I used to say to the kids, just pull out of your pocket that magic pencil and we're going to learn to write. Well, today, pull out your magic cap, put it on, and imagine this, that you buy a home, that you live in it, and then you buy another and you rent out the one that you formerly lived in. And you do that 2 or 3 times. Imagine doing that and using real estate to build wealth. Well, if you haven't done it and you want to build wealth in real estate, and you've already started and you bought your first, you can do this. This is some of what my husband and I did, and some of our clients have done, is we bought it, the first, lived in it, because sometimes you're thinking, buy your dream home. Well, buy your dream home could take time, it could take money, resources, and before you know it, the price of homes are changing, the interest rates are changing. It sounds like something that's happening right now today. So you definitely want to be patient by, saying, okay, I can delay gratification. I may not have my dream home, like my, white picket fence with the pool in the backyard and the 5-bedroom, 4 bathrooms. You may not have that at the outset. You might have to start a little smaller, maybe a condo, maybe a townhome, maybe a multi-unit where you share it with others. Because I was on Reddit this morning and reading some of the comments that people are making. I'm 30 and 40 and I still don't own a home. And the more I try to save, the more expensive homes get. Yeah, they do. So get with it. Get a plan that can start working for you today. It may not be your conventional way of thinking, buying your first home right now. It may be unconventional, and that's okay too. We'll talk about those things another time. But this book that I speak of is called The Automatic Millionaire. Let's see, make sure you can read it. It's a book by David Bach, The Automatic Millionaire. And there's a series. He has several of these books. In fact, if I turn the cover around, you can see some of the other books that he has, like Smart Women Finish Rich. Read that, right? He also has one for couples, right? So he talks about smart couples finish rich. Read that as well. Start late, finish rich. Those of you that are 30, 40 years old and you're thinking it's too late, I can't do it. He's got a book that addresses that as well. And they're all great. I've read them all. He has as well just the Finish Rich workbook, which I think is a good exercise, to do that planning and plotting. So if you don't have money to invest in a big, expensive coaching program, because I've bought coaching programs, they absolutely are great and they're helpful. But if you don't have the money and you're just starting out, defer the coaching program till later and start using some books, start plugging into our Facebook, start plugging into our YouTube and Instagram, and get the information that you need. It's free, okay? And it gives you tips and strategies. Our live, virtual live events that we have where we bring experts on, also free. And we're continually giving you knowledge and information that you can use, and start putting your money to work, or putting yourself in the position where you can start with ownership today. Okay. Or today, meaning in the next 6 to 12 months or 18 to 24 months. because there is some time that has to be put in and some planning. And if you haven't done it prior to this, it's not going to be a purchase instant next month or this, this year possibly. If you've done the work already, like you're part of my team and you've been here for a year or two, some of them took a year or two to get to this point where they're now able to invest here locally in Canada, in the Toronto area or Ontario, or some of them are investing internationally. So they're buying their first. And then we're going to teach you how, when you buy your first, you can hold on to it after, leave it, rent it out, and buy your next. You can do that. It's an amazing strategy. That's what this book teaches. And it may sound too good to be true. And you're thinking, Andrea, it won't work. But it's not. It's not too good to be true. It's happened for tons of people. It's happened for me. It's happening now for a lot of other people, for millions of people. People are reading this book. It says it's a New York Times best-selling author book, and he's written Start Late, Finish Rich. Smart couples finish rich. As I said to you, they have smart women finish rich. He has a book for every different type of individual that is trying to get started in real estate and maybe has been unsuccessful. And I think that David Bach has written amazing books that reveals how to buy a home and how to invest in properties and how to automate it so that you can become incredibly successful and wealthy and build freedom. Okay. And build that generational wealth or legacy that you want to. These books will teach you how to go from a renter, okay, to an owner, from an owner, okay, to an automatic millionaire homeowner, so that you're not just owning the one that you live in, you're learning to own others by, just keeping what you own right now and bought already and renting it out after you leave and get the next one. And the rest is automatic. That's one of the strategies. If you're thinking, I can't do it, how do I do it? How do I get started? First, just get your own. We don't care if it's a condo, if it's a multi-unit where you live in one unit and there's 4 or 5 other units and you have the members of your family or friends that you know and trust working on that with you, or you buy it, move in, live in one of the units and rent out all the others. No friends, no family, just absolute strangers who need a place to rent and need a place to live, and they will pay you and maybe even pay enough so that you can live in that other unit free. And guess what? When you're living in that other unit free, and because you're an investor and you have the right mindset and you're paying attention to some of the stuff that I'm teaching, you're not going to just do it, let your income that you're earning just be withered away and wasted. You're going to save all of that and then buy your next. And maybe your next is where you come out of that unit that you're living in and rent it out. Okay, you rent that unit out, and all units are now rented and generating income, and you move into a place of your own, right? Because maybe you lived there for about 3 years or 5 years or whatever. You build some equity up, you take some of that equity out with you, bring it to the next property that you buy. Plus, you've been saving for the last 3-5 years some of the money that you're earning from your job because you weren't using it to pay for rent or mortgage, and you are taking it to the next property and using it to buy that, maybe more closer to your dream home, maybe that detached home for yourself, or that, semi-detached, whatever the property is that you want. Maybe you're still going to stay in that unit and you're just going to buy another property and rent it out, or you're going to buy another property internationally and use it to generate great cash flow. Whatever the means are, we can help you put together a plan if you don't know how, and we can help you execute on that plan. But the point is, you want to become an automatic homeowner millionaire. This book is The Automatic Millionaire. It's a powerful one-step plan to live and finish rich. And I remember thinking, it's not easy. It's not quick. It's not a quick get rich quick scheme. It's not that. It takes time. It takes planning. It takes changing the mindset and getting yourself, the tools and resources and the expertise that you need to build that knowledge base. It's not a get rich quick, and it's definitely not everyone that's going to be able to do that. But for those of you that are on Reddit and you're 30 or 40 years old and you're thinking it's not going to happen, and you're posting comments about, can this really happen for me still? you're 30 years old, you're 40 years old, absolutely could still happen for you, right? Because the statement was, I saw 30 to 40-year-olds now that purchasing a home is beyond us. What are you guys thinking? And what are you doing in the meantime? It sounds to me like they've given up. Don't give up. I started young. I did. And I was fortunate because there was just this, burning desire in me from the time actually I came from Jamaica to Canada that I wanted to be able to do great things, own a home, go to university, become like, I think even then I probably even thought of doing something that I would never wanted to do, like be a doctor, be a lawyer or whatever, and realized over time, obviously, those aren't things that are me. I'm not that inclined to do that type of work. So I came out and I was a school teacher because I love teaching. I love educating. I'm still loving education and teaching, and I'm still those things. I'm still coaching, consulting, educating, and teaching people how to build wealth, how to use real estate as a tool to have access to, the freedoms and making their dreams and their goals a reality. And so, stop going on these platforms and saying, I've given up. I'm like over the hill. I can't do it, because I think that the eldest person that I recall working with many, many years ago, when I was focused largely on doing my Primerica business, it was someone, she was like late 60s, and she bought her first home because her goal was to build and leave something for her kids. And her kids were all adults, but she still just had this burning desire to do that. And you know what? She was successful. She bought a home and was able to start to build wealth for her children. And I knew some of her children. I met them along the way, and they too eventually bought homes. And so you're not over the hill. It's not too late. I do agree that the prices of homes keep changing. And so that's why you need to plug into what we're doing, and you need to get with, making sure that you get access to resources, get access to experts, get the knowledge that you need, start making the changes that you need. Use the books. They're like, I don't know, this book was probably like, even if it was $20, it's not a lot, but I think it was less. In fact, I bought these books when I hardly had any money. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I can't go to the bookstore and buy these. They're brand new and they cost X. So I went and I looked for them online, and I think I got them for like $5, on I just shopped online, Kijiji, eBay, wherever, and they came to me at minimal cost. And I've done that. Or if I couldn't afford them, or if it was going to cost too much to ship them to me, I just went to the library and looked for them. But because they were such great reads, I eventually bought my own. I wanted to have them. These are books that I've kept. I've had them for a long time. You could see the pages of yellowed. But I keep them so good, and I love them. They are good reads. Today I do a lot more audio. And so if you don't have time, because there's always someone out there that's going to say, I don't have the time, Andrea, I won't be able to do this. Guess what? If you're commuting back and forth to work, do the audio, do Audible. These are available on Audible, and so are most of the books that I read and listen to. So don't give up, people. I don't agree with that statement that you're, sort of over the hill now and you can't do it. I believe that there is some strategy and planning that's required. And, I even another statement that I saw on Reddit this morning that I don't agree with necessarily, but I understand what they're trying to say, is that they know lots of millionaires that did it without real estate. I agree. There's got to be lots of people that don't use real estate as their primary means to build wealth. I just had to use it because I didn't know how else to start with a little bit of money and build a lot of wealth. I just didn't know where else to do that. And I didn't have family that had money. I didn't even have a lot of family that own homes. So, but when I read books like this, it made it so much easier for me to think, yeah, I can do it. When I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I was like, yeah, I get it. His rich dad which was his father with a lot of education. Sorry, his father with a lot of education wasn't his rich dad. That was, it was sort of a bit of a play on the words and the idea and concept. But Robert Kiyosaki looked at his best friend's father, who used real estate as a tool to build wealth. And guess what? I believe, hi, I see Albert joining me there. Hi, thank you for joining. Anyhow, it's a great book. Read it. But I do think that, looking at and reaching outside of our home, outside of our family, who may not have the resources, who may not have had the knowledge, who didn't know how to build wealth through real estate, that's okay. That's what I did. I looked to books and other family, I grew up and I had foster families, and all of my foster families own homes. And so I was like, if they can do it, I can do it too. And so from young, I had this burning desire to own. And I was 22 when I bought my first place. I was coming out of school, and getting started, getting my first job. I hadn't even got my first job. And back then in the early 90s, yes, they gave us homes without even having that job for 2 years as yet. I didn't even have it. I was going to start that fall, and I bought my property. My first home, I bought it just after graduation. And so, yeah, so, times have changed, but that though the opportunities exist still today, they're just different. And so I'm asking you to come out of your comfort zone, look for, unconventional ways and unique ways to get into the market. And, one of my clients who's just getting started now after 2 years of working with us, and working with me, I said to her, one of the best ways, because she was like in her early 20s and just starting out, has a small child, lives at home with her mom and dad. And so I said to her, the best way to get started is going to be to partner with your parents, partner with your mom. And guess what? 2 years later, she's partnering with her mom, and they're buying their first property internationally together. Her mom already is a homeowner. And she's also going to invest locally here in the Toronto area with one of the passive investment projects that we talked about. So yes, it can be done, and you don't have to rush, and you don't have to feel like you're over the hill. I mean, yes, for someone starting out in their early 20s, that's phenomenal. And if I had some of the knowledge that she's getting now at this age, and some of my children have access to at this age, I think that things would have been very different. My portfolio would look different. Where I would be at in life would be totally different. But I don't regret anything that I've done. I don't regret any, any of the things that are still that I didn't have available to me then and have available to me now. I'm still definitely ahead of the game. And you can be too. So if you're 30 or 40 and want to make it happen, start reading. That's one thing. And reading great books. This is one, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, definitely. But I mean, he's giving you strategies on how to do it. So it's not like they're just books, and these are people who've done it already. Right. And so the person who says that not everyone becomes a millionaire through real estate, I agree. You can become a millionaire so many other ways. You can become a millionaire using your business, or building businesses, or buying businesses, or even using stocks or crypto, or any type of investments out there that that give you access to allowing your money to grow faster than leaving it at the bank. Because I don't know anyone that became rich investing at the bank. I definitely know lots of people who've done it outside of real estate. I'm just saying, for me and for the average person, especially because owning a home is one of the key factors in building wealth, it is one of the best ways to do it, and do it with a little bit, starting with a little bit and building. So I agree with those of you on Reddit that saying, I know people who didn't build wealth through real estate. They bought their first property and that's it. They paid it off and built wealth through other means. True. Very true. But that doesn't mean that real estate isn't the way to do it. And they were arguing, well, how many, millionaires want to be fixing toilets? Most millionaires that own real estate and build property or wealth through real estate don't fix toilets. They have property managers. They have, maintenance individuals that can go and take care of that stuff. I've never had to fix the toilet. I've done a lot of other things, mostly because I enjoy doing some of them. Like, I love painting. It doesn't mean I want to spend all my time painting. Many times over in the last year or two, I've just paid someone to go out and paint the property, and especially if it's across the country or somewhere else in the world. But I like it. I enjoy it. I'm sometimes very creative, and it allows me to do that. I can do, designs on the wall, have accent and feature walls. And so that's stuff I sometimes do. I also do it sometimes to save money, because if I've spent a whole year or two trying to evict a tenant and it cost me substantially, I sometimes do try to minimize my costs. So as owners, we do whatever we need to do to survive. And the last 2 years has been about surviving. But I agree with you. Most people who build wealth and become millionaires don't want to be fixing toilets. They have what we call property managers. Okay. And so don't own a property and Thank you. Thank you, Anna, for joining us too. You don't have to be the be all and end all. If you want to scale and grow big, especially if you want to automate it, then a professional property manager is going to be essential. If you want to buy properties outside of the GTA and the Greater Toronto Area, which is very expensive, you'll need to automate it. And so you're not going to be trying to build and become a multimillionaire and do that fixing toilets and tending to clients who call you for a light bulb. Like I say to my tenants, a light bulb is not my concern. That's you. I gave it to you. Everything's working. There's power in the property. The electrical works. So just go out and buy a light bulb and fix it. Or if a battery goes on a remote control, garage door opener, go buy the battery. It's a 9 volt in most cases, or double A or triple A. Go pick it up and replace it. We don't. And if if you don't want to respond to any of those things, just have a property manager, and all the calls and all the nuances of the property filters through to them. I own properties that I've never seen. I've never visited them because I have a property manager. They're not even in places that I want to go to and see. And I do try very hard as a real estate investor and building wealth through real estate to buy properties, especially today, in places where I want to be and I want to visit. But when unique opportunities come and they're presented to me, I might, if they're good, I might, grab it and take a hold of it. And if I can see the visuals, video, pictures, virtual walk, tour, or whatever, I'll do it. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to travel, to 8-hour drive to a remote place to buy a property and then start property managing. Absolutely not. That's not what real estate investing is about. That's not what building wealth and generational wealth means. I feel that it's not even just wealth in terms of knowledge. In terms of money and finances, it's also knowledge. You have to teach the next generation the knowledge that they'll need, because even for someone who's building a legacy and generational wealth, you don't want to pass it on to your children or the next generation and they have no idea how to manage or how to take care of the assets that you build. So they need knowledge as well. So building a legacy is not just passing on wealth to children and people who have no idea what to do. It's also teaching them the knowledge. So we want to get the younger generation involved and get them knowing and understanding what it means to own real estate or corporation or this legacy that you've built and how it can look. And even if they have managers taking care of the assets, it doesn't mean that they can be blind to it all, because then they could be taken advantage of and the assets can dwindle and be they can be violated, right? They need to understand the books. They need to know who the key experts are that need to be a part of their team: the lawyer, the accountant, the mortgage broker, the property manager. And in many cases, if they're still making acquisitions, which they may not have to, but if they are, then they need to understand the other individuals that they need a part of that, such as appraisers and inspections and so on, right? But we're trying to teach them. We're not trying to just pass on, millions of dollars to children and generationally, and expect that it's going to go make it to 3 or 4 generations down the road. It won't if they don't have the knowledge. So building a legacy and building generational wealth is more than just passing on, millions of dollars to children. It's about ensuring that they have the tools, the knowledge, the know-how, the expertise that they built an expert team. So you don't have to do the work. And real estate investing is not just active. You can do passive investments, things that it's like investing in stocks and crypto, but you can invest in real estate passively and have your money work for you and not have to ever deal with tenants and property issues and concerns. That's all for the fund or the developer or the REIT that you're invested in. And so you can join in on some of our lives here, are registered lives that we do regularly every month. We have one coming up on October 24th where we're going to have an expert on there. So look out for that so that you can get registered, because only registered individuals can come into that. It's still free, so there's no cost, but you'll get access to the experts that I speak of, because I'm not an expert in everything. I have a lot of team and individuals that work with me, mortgage experts, realtors, and more, right? So companies that I've partnered with and done affiliate relationships with because I know that they have great products that I've invested in, projects that I've invested in, and I know that it can bring to you the opportunity to invest and get double digit returns, 10, 15, 20% return on your money. So that guess what? You can work less for your money and put your money to work. And we can teach you how to be a banker. Those are things that we're going to talk about. One of those on these lives, how to be the bank. And so don't give up on your goals and dreams. Some of the rules that are changing that we see coming into effect this fall, they will absolutely give you as a first time buyer opportunities. You can listen to my past live that helps you understand some of those rules and how they can benefit you. So that's it for me for today. It's Friday. And it's the Friday before our Thanksgiving weekend. So instead of being, negative and, feeling that you haven't accomplished some of the things that you have, that you want to, and especially in terms of homeownership, can we just go into this weekend finding some things that we are thankful for, that we are appreciative for, that we are just so grateful, and focus on those things this weekend with your family and friends as you enjoy Thanksgiving, as you reflect on the last year, and you are looking forward to what is to come, because what is to come can be greater than what has passed. Okay, greater, because we have been living through tough times, but they're all temporary. They're not permanent. And how we view the moments that we're in, the times that we're dealing with, can absolutely have a significant impact on us today and on what we do going forward. But it's Thanksgiving, so I'm very thankful for all of you who support me, for all of you who bring your knowledge to me and also rely on me for my knowledge and my experts' knowledge. I appreciate you so much so. And I wish you all an amazing Thanksgiving. Enjoy the rest of your Friday and be blessed. Take care, everyone.